Welcome everyone to Project-Based Learning Unpacked, the podcast where we delve into the world of project-based learning, or PBL. I am Ysraela Escandor, your host for this current episode. Over the next 6 episodes, we'll explore every facet of PBL, from its foundational principles to its future trajectory. Let's jump into episode 1. What exactly is project-based learning? It's more than just assigning a project, for it is actually a pedagogical approach that centers learning around complex and real-world challenges. You heard it right! Instead of passively absorbing information, students actively engage in investigating, designing, and creating solutions. Think of it as learning by doing. Traditional teaching often feels compartmentalized, for it separates subjects and isolated the facts. PBL breaks down those silos, encouraging them into promoting interdisciplinary thinking and collaboration. And the best part? Students develop crucial 21st century skills like problem solving, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration, and which skills are highly valued in the modern workplace.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 2 where we dive into the world of education, innovation, and student engagement. I'm 𝗧𝗵𝗲 Guades, and today we're talking about something that's transferring the way students learn. First, let's talk about how project-based learning connects to real-world problems. Instead of memorizing facts, students work on meaningful projects like designing solutions for environmental issues or creating business plans. PBL also encourages curiosity. Students ask questions, research, and experiment to find their own solutions. It's not about finding the right answer, it's about thinking critically and creatively. Teamwork is also a huge part of PBL. Students learn to communicate, problem solve, and manage group dynamics. And they are all the skills they will need in any career. Projects don't end after the first draft. Students get feedback, reflect on their work, and revise, just like professionals do in the real world. This builds resilience and a growth mindset of a student. Finally, students present their work to an audience, whether it's classmates, the community, or even online. This adds accountability and helps them develop confidence in their ideas. So, that's project-based learning, real-world connection, inquiry, collaboration, reflection, and public presentation. It's all about making learning meaningful and preparing students for the future. Thanks for listening and catch you next episode.
Welcome to the episode 3 of the PBL Podcast. This is Lory Alba, your host. This episode is entitled PBL in Action. So in this episode, we'll focus on effectively planning and implementing project-based learning in the classroom. We'll explore practical strategies, real-world examples, and insights from experienced educators to help you create engaging and impactful learning experiences. The first is the project planning process and its strategic approach. Effective PBL planning requires a strategic approach. While seemingly daunting, breaking it down into manageable steps makes the process less overwhelming. We'll examine 2 common starting points. These are standard-based planning and authentic problem-based planning. First is the standards-based planning. This approach begins by identifying specific curriculum standards and then designing a project that directly addresses those standards. The challenge lies in making the project engaging and relevant to students' lives. Careful consideration of the project's scope and depth is crucial to ensure alignment with learning objectives. Second is the authentic problem-based planning. This approach starts with a real-world problem or challenge relevant to students' interests and communities. The project is then designed to address this problem, incorporating relevant curriculum standards organically. This approach fosters students' ownership and intrinsic motivation. Now, let's talk about the essential questions for project-based learning implementation success. Regardless of your starting point, these questions are vital for successful PBL planning. First is clear learning objectives. What specific knowledge, skills, and dispositions should students gain? Define it with measurable outcomes. Second, compelling driving question. You should formulate central questions that spark curiosity and guides the project. Ensure that it's open-ended and allows for diverse approaches. Third, define stakeholders. Identify individuals or groups affected by the project's outcomes. This adds context and purpose. Fourth, potential solutions. Brainstorm various approaches to solving the problem. Encourage creative thinking and diverse perspectives. And last, the assessment plan. Develop clear criteria for evaluating students' learning throughout the project. This should be transparent and aligned with the learning objectives. In project-based learning, you need to find an inspiration and that make sure that you're always ready to refine it. Inspiration can come from various sources such as current events, community partnerships, student interest, and even existing projects adapted to your context. Once you have already drafted a project plan, seek feedback from colleagues and refine it based on their insights. Iterative planning is key to creating a successful PBL experience. And lastly, effective project-based learning implementation involves strategies for engaging students, fostering collaboration, managing the project timeline, and providing ongoing feedback. In the next episode, we'll talk about the assessment in PBL. Until then, remember that thoughtful planning is the foundation of successful project-based learning. This is 𝗧𝗵𝗲 Alba, and the episode 3 comes to an end.
Welcome to episode 4 of the PBL Podcast. This is Rave Dayto, your host. Assessment and project-based learning. That is our topic for today. Project-based learning is a student-centered approach where learners engage in real-world, meaningful projects over an extended period. Assessing PBL requires a different approach compared to traditional testing because it focuses on process, collaboration, critical thinking, and final product rather than just memorization. Key methods for assessing project-based learning. So, the first one is formative assessment or ongoing feedback. This includes check-ins and milestones where teachers can monitor their progress through drafts, proposals, and team meetings. Next is peer and self-assessment where students reflect on their contributions and give feedback to their peers. Next is rubrics and checklists where clear criteria help students to stay on track. Second is summative assessment or final evaluation. This includes final exhibition where presentation, report, or performance will be evaluated. Next is portfolios where students will compile their work to demonstrate growth. Next is defense or Q&A questions where students will explain their process and justify the decisions they have made during the creation of the project. The third one is authentic assessment or real-world application, client or community feedback. If the project serves an external audience, their input matters. Next is real-world impact. If success is measured by how well the project solves a problem. Challenges in project-based learning. So, subjectivity. Grading, creativity, and collaboration can be less standardized. Second, it is time-consuming. It requires more effort than traditional tests. Next is balancing process and product. Both effort and outcome should be considered. So, that's all. Thank you.
Welcome back to the episode 5 of the PBL Podcast. This is Rojane Marollano, your host. Today, we will explore the exciting world of education and its ever-evolving landscape. We will also dive into the popular and often debated topic of project-based learning. Project-based learning is all the rage promising engaged students, real-world skills, and deep learning. But is it all it's cracked up to be? Let's explore the challenges and benefits of this approach. One of the biggest challenges educators face is time management. Projects can be time-consuming, and fitting them into a packed curriculum can be a real struggle. Then there's differentiation. Meeting the needs of diverse learners in a project-based setting can be tricky. Some students might need more scaffolding, while others might be ready for more advanced challenges. And let's not forget assessment. Traditional assessments like multiple choice tests don't always capture the full picture of what students learn through projects. Finding ways to assess complex skills like collaboration, problem solving, and creativity can be difficult. But despite the challenges, project-based learning offers incredible benefits. Students are more engaged and motivated when they're actively involved in projects that connect to the real world. They develop essential 21st century skills like critical thinking, problem solving, and communication, and the learning process becomes more meaningful and memorable. So, how can educators overcome these challenges and make project-based learning a success? Careful planning is crucial. Setting clear learning objectives, establishing timelines, and breaking down projects into manageable steps can help. Differentiation is key. Flexible grouping, differentiated resources, and personalized support can help meet the needs of all learners. And assessment needs to be authentic and ongoing. Rubrics, portfolios, presentations, and peer reviews can provide a more holistic picture of student learning. Project-based learning is a powerful approach, but it's not a magic bullet. It takes time, planning, and a commitment to student-centered learning. But the rewards in terms of student engagement, motivation, and real-world learning are well worth the effort. That's it for today's episode of the PBL Podcast. I hope you found this discussion about project-based learning insightful. Be sure to check out the other episodes for more information about project-based learning. This is 𝗲𝗵𝗏 Marollano, your host. Until next time, and keep learning.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the future of PBL. I'm Hernan and Dizon, and today, let's talk about something I'm really excited about. The future of project-based learning, or PBL. Now, if you're not familiar, PBL is an approach where students dive into the real projects, solving problems, collaborating, and thinking critically along the way. Honestly, I think we're just scratching the surface of what it can do. Looking ahead, one of the biggest game changers for PBL will be technology. I mean, with tools like virtual classroom, video chats, and shared digital workspaces, the possibilities are endless. Imagine collaborating on a project with students across the globe, all working toward a shared goal. Tech is going to make those experiences more accessible and real-time than ever before. Another thing I'm really excited about, the future of PBL is all about personalization. Students will have more control over their projects, choosing what excites them to finding ways to connect those interests to their learning. It's no longer just about following a curriculum. It's about learning through doing and discovering what you're truly passionate about. But let's be real, there are some hurdles to overcome. Not every school has the same access to technology or resources, and teachers will need to support in adapting to these changes. But I think with the right investments, we can make this work and give students the skill they need to thrive in an ever-evolving world. So in short, the future of project-based learning is bright. It's about technology, it's about personalizing education, and most importantly, it's about preparing students to face the real challenges of tomorrow. I'm honestly so excited to see where this goes. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this, make sure to subscribe and share your thoughts on PBL with me. Until next time, stay curious and keep learning. Thank you.